Hey guys, it's Garvin's Garage, and today we're changing the oil on a 2003 Lexus LS430. And the supplies you need for an oil change is a 10mm socket. You can use either a ratchet or just a screwdriver style, and oil filter removal wrench, and we just have two just in case one doesn't fit. And then an oil filter, which we're actually using a full synthetic spray-on one. It's a normal cellulose filter with spray-on full synthetic, which is okay, but it's not as good as a full-on synthetic filter. But the model number is FPS 3614, and it's a Fram filter. But mobile one is better because it's true full synthetic. And the oil that we're using is full synthetic 10W30, which is not the recommended rating, but since it's the summer, it's gonna be fine. And yeah, and then here's the funnel and the drain pan, or where we're gonna drain our oil. The first thing you want to do is drain your oil and possibly warm up your engine, depending on if that's what you want to do or not. And what we did was we just drove her from the parking lot into this auto's garage at our school, so that's what the warming up we did for it was. And now what you want to do is just drain the oil, but first you gotta grab your drain, which is this is what we're using because this is what our glass has. And I'm just gonna leave that right here. And then this is a 14mm drain bolt, and just remember to have it on the screw while you're doing it so you don't strip the threads. And just have that lined up. And just hand on threaded wrestling. Caution at this point because depending on how long you're driving for, it could be hot. We want to make sure you get the gasket with it also, which the gasket's stuck on it. And just let that sit for a while and let it drain. While that's draining, we're gonna remove the oil filter cover. So what you want to unscrew is this. It's just a 10mm. And then once this flap drops down, you can get your oil filter, which is right there. Okay, now that you have this cover done, we just grabbed a filter wrench like this. This one works very good for this. It's gonna lock on. Just let it on. Get it as deep down as you can, and then just twist it. This person must not have put oil on the gasket before they put it on because it's very hard. And unscrew it. It's gonna might make a little mess, so you're ready to drop some oil to run out. And then we'll put the new filter on. Okay, so we're gonna clean the mating surface where the filter meets the engine. So the gasket seats nice and well. Perfect. And then just wipe down this cover a little bit. This thing gets messy. And then we'll put on the oil filter. Before you put the filter on the filter housing, what you want to do is fill it up just a little bit because it's going sideways, so you don't want all the oil to dump out. And then put a little gasket on the seal itself so it's easy to remove the next time you change the oil. And you just want to put your filter up to the filter housing like this. And as you can see, oil is spilling out a little, but just get it on, and then once you have it seated to the filter correctly, up right here, once it's actually touching the filter housing itself, right once there's contact, you have to go 3/4 to 1 turn. So I'm just gonna go as tight as possible. And that's a half a turn right there. And then I'm just gonna probably have to go as tight as possible to get on, and that's 3/4. So I actually got it just to the limit, and it actually says right there on the filter itself. So now that that's on, we're gonna put this cover on. Now once you have the oil filter all tightened up, then grab your drain bolt and just thread it into place. And you want to torque it to 25 foot-pounds of torque. And I recommend wiping down the oil pan before you put it on the bolt so it gets a good seal and it doesn't leak from the bolt. And also you can replace the washer. Oh, we didn't, because it still looks pretty good. But we already have this torque wrench set to 25 foot-pounds of torque, so just torque it until 25. So after you got the filter and it's in the correct spot, you want to put the cover back on, or bolt it back up. So you just hand thread it in at first and then just tighten it in the rest of the way. And then this one right here. Now you want to remove the oil cap to put the new oil in, and it actually says use 5W30, but we're using 10W30 because it's in the summer, so it doesn't really matter. We're definitely going to change the oil before winter. And then now what you want to do is actually put the oil in the engine, and it takes about like 4.6 quarts, I think, but we're going to pour sideways so it's easier and the air can escape easier. And I'm just gonna pour in like a good amount at first, and then I'm just gonna stop and check. It takes 4.8 quarts, but some people say you use 5. We're just gonna put like 4.5 in and then just check it, and then we'll add more after. Now you want to do is just drive it a little and get the oil flowing through the system and fully fill the filter like it would in normal driving. And then check the oil. And it should, we like to have it at the upper 3/4 mark of the dipstick, just to be sure that there's enough oil in it. And what we actually did was put a full 5 quarts in it, so we'll see if that was good or not. And yep, it's perfectly at the 3/4 mark, so that's where we want it. Also park it on a level surface. Yeah. That's it for Garvin's Garage. Click here to subscribe, and click here to watch your last video.